All right, let's make an update montage here as we go. The LH6/LC9, basically LC9, LH6 Crank is it. It's in the car. It's bolted to the engine. The torque converter is not yet. Everything else is done loosely. I'm pulling all of the piping off that I had on there. I should have grabbed one. Maybe these will have it in it, since I haven't done it. So all these pipes here, might not be able to see it. No, those. This one's, oh, here we go. Can you guys see that? Come on. See if we can get the light better. Oh, wrong way. Oh, come on. Well, in there, it won't really focus. Those are all metal burrs, and they're stuck inside the pipe. I'm pretty sure that's where my metal was coming from. I can't believe I didn't see this. And they're like stuck. Like you have to take your fingernail and pry them off. But I just been throwing a bunch of bolts in there and shaking around for a bunch, and they've been coming clean. Go over here. Here's my nice AC box that fiberglass in like a day because I don't give a shit what it looks like on the inside, and some other stuff. I poked a hole through that. But so in here is clean. That's the way it's supposed to look. So I'm taping all the pipe off that thing. And I'm cleaning all the pipe up. I'm scrubbing everything out. Intercooler is gonna have to be cleaned out. and I have to blow a bunch of compressed air through there. And I don't know if I can flush it. I don't see why not. And then just make sure everything gets drained out. Yeah, I think that's where it was all coming from. It sucks. I almost think I need to get a different intercooler if I can find one again and just junk that one, which really sucks. But those are the fine shavings that I found. So I'm waiting on some PTF lines. Short of it, I got the high pressure hose there. I'm hoping that fitting works. It pretty much just seats right at the end. So I'm hoping it's long enough inside there. Otherwise I might have to, really don't want to pull the rack off. I'm gonna have to go down there some way and see if I can find a longer fitting. Otherwise I'm gonna have to take like 1/8 of an inch off the top and then of the actual rack. But I think it's sealed, but I guess we'll see. If I blow air into it, I can puke ATF out of the cooler that's down here, so should be good. And then everything else is still being put back together. So got a new evaporator. That'll go in once that's dry, and I got some seal, so we can get that sealed in there, and that's all done. And then we can start getting everything up here taken care of, and then getting the turbo kit that's back there back on here, and just keep going on this, so then we can get back to where we were and then get the brakes done. I did get, let's see if it's still here, so I had to get a tap, a cleaner tap, because I'm putting this block back in for now until I figure out how to delete all this. But this fitting right here, I must have screwed up somehow. It's already, yeah, it doesn't really seat that well. And I need to clean up that thread in there because at the beginning it's just a little bird. So I'm gonna got the right tap thread in there. I'm just gonna go in there and clean it up and then get that back on, tighten all those up. And then it'll, you know, it's heavy, but I need a better way. I know like the earlier ones, you can basically tee all this stuff up, but the LT1 cars, the 92 up, they have a weird system that's like seven different lines. I guess that one's loose too, so I have to figure that out as well. But I think this is all has like the proportioning stuff in it as well. I don't know. I need to look at the brake system. I might just redo the whole brake system on this car at some point and just say screw it and have someone price me out the whole entire braking system after this thing gets a lot more serious. Yeah, that's that. We'll keep going and we'll keep adding this montage and make you guys want to not watch this stuff anymore. So, yeah. So there, boop, down there, and there's the return line. You can fit a truck power steering pump in here. You just gotta slice that right off. Just a small enough gap there. So I might have to always adjust that one right there, but think that'll work? That'll probably leak because that's the way my luck is. Completely bolted. Got all that stuff done. New evaporators in there. Everything is tightened. Dipstick for the transmissions in. Coils back on. Heating or the cooling hoses are on. And I need to clean. That stuff's all clean. I need to take that stuff off, get it all cleaned out, and inspect that housing. The other turbo stuff is back there. Now I'll be able to go on, inspect the housings there, make sure everything's cleaned up, and then we will start rerouting all of the intercooler piping and get that done. And then I'm gonna leave the mid pipes off before I start this thing. There's a couple things I need to do yet before we get started, like obviously rewire all this stuff again, but we'll do that. We'll get everything wired up. We'll get some coolant or some coolant all in here and get everything circulated, test to make sure I don't have any leaks in the power steering line, turn left, right, up, down, upside down, stuff like that. And if we're all good, then we are ahead. So, God, we got dirty hands. This side's in. And where is it? Where'd you go? You can't see. All right, let me get a light in here. Shazam! Had to just notch a little bit of that bolt off because I didn't like where it was sitting. That's pretty tight, but it'll work. All right, turbos are back on and all connected. The drains and feeds are on. I'll take the feeds off when we go to rotate it so I can get oil run through, and then I can also let the starter just prime the system. I don't have to turn the ECU on to click the starter over because it's completely separate, so that's the plan there. Like I said, the cold side's done. Mid pipes are still off, but everything's connected. I'm just starting to do the wiring now. I got to figure out where I'm going to put this catch can. I still don't like where it was at down there, so I might try to rig something up and shorten these tubes up here. I just have some extra just in case I do shorten it, which I think I will. But as you can see, I'm already starting to get the wiring and stuff set up. And once we get that, we can get fueling it, and we can run the starter over for a little bit, let it cool down, run it over, get some oil passed through, and then once that's all good, we will fire it up and see what it sounds like and see if we can't break something just sitting in the garage, because that's the way I like to do it. All right, so everything is connected other than you can see 2 plugs here, knock sensors and cam. This has got the front timing cover on it now, and the cam wires, the reference and the ground are switched from my understanding. So I need to go in and switch those around. And actually the plugs are different. This is like what would sit on the timing cover, and like I could use this, but I don't need it because there's no point in me doing an extension when I can run it right down the timing cover. But this plug is slightly different. So what I need to do is I need to get like one of these plugs off and splice it onto that plug and switch the wires around. So then that works. And then the knock sensors, since there's no valley cover for the provisions for them, because this is like a Gen 3.5 / Gen 4, the knock sensors are still the LS1 style trucks knock sensors. They're on each side of them. They're threaded into holes that aren't being used. So I have to also do this too. I cut those off, and then that's to get those stupid like sealing things on, and then get these all heat shrunk and connected back up, and then I can get those connected on each side. I'll put some loom on there, and then we'll get those connected, and then everything will be done. The starter's on, everything's plugged in, ECU, everything's plugged in. So it's literally ready to go. I got to fill it up with oil. I'm going to prime the fuel just to make sure that we don't have any leaks, because every single time it seems like when I put these fuel rails back on, they leak, and I have to adjust them a little bit. They're not made for those truck injectors. I had to modify them a little bit. So once we're good there, then what we'll do is we'll just make sure the ECU and everything is off. We'll make sure the battery's charged up, and we will kind of just let this thing rotate and start getting oil through the system. I'm gonna pull the feeds off in the turbo and put it like in a bottle, and then just let the engine spin over. And once I see oil start to come out of them, you can pretty much say it's primed or primed enough to where we're getting oil circulation and the pickup tube is picking up oil. So then we'll connect them back up, and then we'll try to first fire this thing and see how it sounds, and hopefully everything is good. I already noticed it has a lot higher compression because when I was rotating the flywheel over by hand to get the torque converter bolts in, it was a lot harder to move that around than the LM4 that I had. I'm not gonna say it was like tons of it different, but it was noticeably a lot more difficult to move that, and you could hear how the compression was just spot on, or it's a lot higher than the LM4 was. So we'll do that, and my next video will pretty much be me hopefully starting it, or part of this video, because I'm splicing all this shit together. So later. What a magnificent beast. But anyways, straight over to the battery charger right there. Battery's plugged in. ECU, if you actually flip it, you can hear it. Listen. Prime the fuel times. No leaks. So it's off. You just give her a quick little. ECU's not on, we're just trying to get some oil out. All we're trying to do is just trying to prime the system, get the oil flowing through there. Once the oil flows through it, we will plug those into the turbos. We'll plug the ECU in and we'll try to fire it. I did swap those wires around on the camshaft sensor. There's so much bullshit online about the LS2 sensor front timing, because the LH6 technically is like a LS2 family engine, and they're like, you don't need to swap wires, and some people are like, you need to swap wires. So I swapped them because the colors didn't match. It doesn't make sense for the colors not match, so I swapped them already, but I swapped them like open, so if I need to, I can just pull the heat shrink off and I can redo them. So if it doesn't fire after we get the oil out, we'll take that cam sensor and we'll swap the wires back to where it was stock. And I don't know if I have it here. So yeah, this is what they come with, like on the little harness. And some of them say they're crossed, which is funny. Some say they're crossed because this one, if you flip it around, the wires aren't crossed. Like that's where it would go. I'm not gonna try to explain to you, but they're not crossed. So that's why I crossed them, because they weren't matching up to the stock sensor. So we'll see. I already crossed them. If it starts, we're good. I'll relay that information and I will praise that to the Lord Jesus Christ himself. Otherwise, if it doesn't work, then I know that you just don't cross them. So we'll keep priming that, and once we prime it, we'll do another video of it hopefully starting. That one's primed. That one is drip, drop, dripping. So we got this thing primed. So I'm gonna plug that in. We're gonna blip the fuel. We're gonna see if we can throw rods to the goddamn roof. All right, I don't have knock sensors plugged in, but we're gonna give her a shot. Oh, I should probably at least take this 14 mil off here. That can stay. I don't give a shit about that. Let's pray for the best. Ready, guys? Ooh, buddy. Let's try it again. Oh my goodness gracious, listen to that. It is fantastic. Bleep, bloop, pop. That's a success.